Stepmother, Helen Schumann-Suhr, she grew up in China, and the story is that originally she was living with her parents, and eventually when she got older and she was going to school, in order to go to a better school, she had transferred to live with her grandparents, who were in a more impoverished area. However, the school was better than the community in which her parents lived. This was a major turning point for her, as that's when she really started to grow up and understand the importance of education. With that, she actually got into one of the best universities in China for her bachelor's of business. She was also a part of the Science Society all through high school and through her university career, which really says something about a BBA. Furthermore, when she moved to the United States, actually, which is a fun fact, she moved down to Atlanta, Georgia, because she got accepted to Emory, one of the most critically acclaimed Gwazueta School of Business at Emory University, which is one of the most critically acclaimed business programs in all the United States. With that, she graduated, and she moved on to her career in marketing. Through her entire career, while she was excelling and moving up pretty quickly, she got into the junior manager and senior manager positions quite quickly. Although this was the case, unfortunately, she never really, at heart, liked to be managed. And this is when she met my father. She had left her job at the time at UPS, which is where she met my dad, and moved on to work for a company called Georgia Pacific. When my dad got a job up in the United States, this wasn't long after my little brother was born. She was in a completely new situation, completely new environment in a country in which she's not a citizen of at all, and she had to basically start from almost square one once moving to Canada with my dad, my little brother, and myself. And the micromanaging style of some of the offices she worked in just didn't work for her. From companies like Reckitt and Keyser to General Mills. Although these are very strong companies at heart, she was never the kind of personality that liked to be managed. She liked to make decisions herself. This is when she started to explore the options of becoming an entrepreneur. And with that, she started a few little things on the side. One thing that she called paid forward earrings, where she was selling jewelry to and it's kind of a one-for-one deal. Every bit of jewelry she sells, she would send off another set of jewelry to unfortunate families, where they can kind of enjoy the little things in life, such as jewelry. With that, eventually she got an idea. My little brother at the time, and he still is enrolled in a Montessori school. And as she got to know the teachers and the staff on a more personal basis, she realized that that's something that she can actually do herself, and it's a very lucrative option, and also it is a big way of giving back to the community and being socially responsible as a person. So she acquired a daycare called Little Lords and Ladies. She had left her job from General Mills, so this was a massive, massive, massive risk for her personally. Although my dad's executive status and peer leader did help in terms of security, it was still a big risk on her part because a lot of things could go wrong, especially since the business she acquired was not a Montessori registered school. I remember we spent the entire summer working together, trying to make sure that we can get the school properly renovated because it wasn't in the best shape. We completely repainted it, provided it with new furnishing. We had to almost completely redo the garden. We had to put a specific type of wood chips even in the playground, because even that is regulated by Montessori. So moving from that, it was ever since she started out, the entire family has been involved in the process, from graphics to writing that my dad would help with, all the renovations and maintenance that my dad myself would also help with. And then, she really started to grow within the first year and a half. Within the first year and a half, she was ranked in the top 5 by a magazine in Oakville as one of the most critically acclaimed Montessori schools in all of Oakville. Within a year and a half. It's pretty impressive. For being new in the business, facing a lot of challenges such as, including the fact that she had to fire some staff that just wasn't aligned with the vision of the company. And in addition, for the ones that were already there that wanted to stay, she had to make sure that they were up to Montessori expectations, and also so that they were engaged in the company itself and would follow her leadership. And these were all extremely fierce challenges. However, just this year, at the beginning of this year, she was working on a deal to acquire another 2 locations. And that recently actually went through just a month and a half ago. She acquired 2 more locations. They're called, so the 3 locations are now called Old Bronte, Maple Grove, and Oak Hill. Those are her 3 campuses. The nature of the business is not for profitability. She's the kind of person that feels good about the about the fact that she's providing education to these children and providing them with better futures in a way that to allow them to excel as she did growing up in China from her humble beginning. She worked hard for her entire life, and of course part of the goal obviously is to turn a profit, to make sure the business is profitable. And that's why, as a social entrepreneurship, it's that fundamentally the goal of this business is to provide an education for children and better their futures through Montessori education, but there is still a goal to retain a profit. However, all the profits she has made thus far have been injected right back into the business, which just further shows how dedicated she is to making a change in terms of the lives of these children. So what did I learn from her experience? So what I learned was that, if you want to do something and you want to start your own business, you have to put 110% of yourself into it. You can't say, I don't know, I'm going to keep working, maybe I can do this on the side. That doesn't work. If you're confident in the idea, you would be willing to assume the risk. It says something about the idea if you're not willing to put your entire life out on the table for it. And that's pretty much exactly what she did. If I were ever to start something now, I would really, objectively evaluate my idea and say, is this something that I would put my career on the line for, my education on the line for, or whatever it is that's important to me at the time? Maybe it's my house or a car. Would I be willing to put, things that I have, or my life, would I be willing to put that on the line for this idea? And if I am, then that says something about the idea in terms of its ability to provide reward for the risk I'm putting into it. Again, I thank you for listening, Professor. It was, through my entire life I've been asking questions to my stepmother, and there were only a few little questions I had to ask here and there that I really needed to know in terms of what kind of tied into her personality. And by doing that, I'm ever so grateful to have this assignment done, because it has taught me a lot about, even being so close to home. It has taught me a lot about how, if you want to start something, how committed you have to be into starting it and seeing it take off. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.